Greetings, night school class. This is the way that we're going to have to be learning, but I promise you I will do the best to make sure that you are successful as long as you're willing to do the work. This is what we're going to be doing for the next until June 3rd. So this is night school. I will be available every Monday and Wednesday from 4:30 to 7, just like when we had class remotely. However, you do not have to log into my office hours to do the work. Today's assignment is about to be explained to you. I'm going to go over what you need to do, and I would like you to reach out to me if you have questions. There are 4 things that I really need you to do today in order to be successful for night school, April 20th, 2020. First, I need you to read this story, So I Ain't No Good Girl. It's 1920, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's about 6.5 pages, and you need to read the story by Sharon Flake called So I Ain't No Good Girl. When you're done reading the story, So I Ain't No Good Girl, you need to answer the questions on the Google form. You put your name here. I have a drop down for everybody. Then you tell me in the opening of the story, how does the narrator describe good girls? The narrator of this story apologizes to Raheem, even though one can argue he was wasting her time. Why do you think she apologizes to him? How is Raheem taking advantage of the narrator? Both Raheem and the narrator come from houses where they've witnessed abuse. Statistically, boys and girls who come from abusive homes wind up being abused or abusing someone else in their relationship. Why do you think this is? Based on the ending of the story, where do you think the narrator is going to be 10 years from now? And then finally, if the story was written by a friend of yours, what advice would you give your friend? In other words, what would you tell your friend who is going out with Raheem? You need to answer all of these questions and submit the form. When you're done reading the story and answering the questions over So I Ain't No Good Girl, you need to read the poem by Tupac Shakur, Love is Just Complicated. You probably would want to read this maybe twice. Do not read the poem first, because the poem asks you questions that relate to the short story. Once again, there is a form that you have to fill out after you finish the poem. Pick your name. I ask you, who do you think the speaker of this poem is talking to? There's no wrong answer here. Why do you think Tupac Shakur varies his sentence length and leaves the words love is just complicated alone? Again, there is no wrong answer here. I just want you thinking. In your opinion, what are some of the reasons why love might be complicated? And then finally, I ask you, how does the poem Love is Complicated relate to the ideas in the short story by Sharon Flake, So I Ain't No Good Girl? You need to answer this form and then submit it. Finally, I am asking you to tell me whether or not you want to continue reading the Scythe book. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the class into 2 different groups. I'm going to separate the class into 2 different groups. One group is going to be reading Scythe if they want to finish it, and instead of reading all the different short stories and poems and those activities, they're going to just focus on finishing Scythe, while the other group is going to be given different lessons every day based off of the short stories, articles, and things like that. We were halfway through the book before we went on quarantine, and I know a few of you would like to finish it. I'm determined to read one book with you all before night school's over. So please let me know whether or not you want to be continuing the book. I would be happy to have one group do that and another group do something else. After you've read So I Ain't No Good Girl, answered the questions, and read the poem Love is Complicated, and then told me whether or not you want to continue reading Scythe, you're done for today's activities. I'll see you again on Wednesday. I'll be available from 4:30 to 7, Mondays and Wednesdays. There we go. Okay.